Hello and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist. Today we are diving into a pretty drastic proposal coming out of Nigeria, a nation grappling with significant security challenges. Nigeria's top defense chief, General Christopher Musa, has just made a headline-grabbing suggestions completely fence all Nigerians' border with its four neighbors, that is Cameroon, Niger, Chad and Benin Republic. This isn't just a small fence we are talking about. He's citing massive barriers like Pakistan's with Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia's with Iraq as successful examples. This is a huge deal, and first time such a high-ranking official has publicly called for it. So, is this a desperate measure, a necessary evil, or a stroke of strategic genius? Let me allow you to watch the video.
Border management is very critical. I've had countries, because of the level of insecurity they had to fence their borders. I know sometimes when you mention, people say, no, it's impossible. Pakistan fenced 1,350 kilometer border with Afghanistan. That was the only time they had peace. Saudi Arabia and Iraq, 1,400 kilometers fenced completely. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up. Gentlemen, if we don't do anything, when the Sahel falls, it is Nigeria that everybody is interested in. Because they believe Nigeria is huge, Nigeria is big, Nigeria is rich. And that is what we should start thinking about. How do we secure fully and take control of our borders?
All right. So, as you saw, the context is stark. Nigeria's military is stretched thin, battling a 16 years insurgency by groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP in the northeast, alongside widespread banditry and the other security threats across the country. We've seen countless attacks, displacements, and a persistent sense of unease. General Musa's argument is straightforward. Border management is very critical. He believes that sealing the borders will curb the entrance of armed groups and foreign fighters who authorities often blame for escalating the violence. So why this drastic measure and why now? So let's break it down. Number one is persistent infiltration. General Musa and Nigeria's authority consistently point to foreign fighters' infiltration as a key driver of the prolonged insurgency. The longest border, nearly 2,000 kilometers, is with Cameroon, a known hotspot for Boko Haram activity. Niger and Chad, also neighbors, have themselves lost territories to armed groups, making these borders incredibly porous and difficult to manage. The next one is strain on military. The Nigerian military is undeniably overstretched. They are fighting on multiple fronts. A physical barrier, in theory, could act as a force multiplier, reducing the manpower needed for constant patrol across vast, often difficult terrain. The next is protecting perceived wealth. An interesting point Musa made is that Nigeria perceived wealth makes it a target. He stated, "It is Nigeria that everybody is interested in. That is why we need to secure fully and take control of our borders. It is critical for our survival and sovereignty." This suggests a belief that external actors are deliberately destabilizing the country. The next is precedents. He's not pulling this idea out of thin air. He cited Pakistan, 1,350 kilometer fenced, with Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia's 1,400 kilometer barrier with Iraq. These are countries that have fenced similar across border threats. Now, let's be realistic. While the desire for security is understandably, the practicalities are mind-boggling. Let's look at the cost. We are talking about thousands of kilometers of border. Nigeria's total land border is over 4,000 kilometers. Fencing even the most problematic section with Cameroon and Niger will be an astronomical undertaking. Where will the funds come from, especially with current economic pressures? The next is logistics and maintenance. Building is one thing, maintaining is another. Think about the terrain, deserts, forest, mountain. Then there's this need for constant surveillance. where we talk about cameras, sensors, patrol to ensure the fence isn't breached, tunneled under, or simply destroyed. Let's look at the socio-economic impact. Borders in Africa are often fluid. Communities straddle this line with deep ethnic, cultural, and economic ties. A hard fence could devastate local economies, disrupt traditional migratory routes for pastoralists, and potential fuel resentment among border population whose cooperation is vital for intelligence gathering. Will it actually work? Determined insurgents often find way. Tunnels are a classic example. Corruption could also lead to sections being poorly built or guard being bribed. Moreover, a fence doesn't address the root cause of insurgency. Poverty, governance issues, extremist ideologies, which often have domestic origin even if simplified by foreign elements. Let's look about the diplomatic relations. How could Nigeria's neighbors react to being fenced out? While they also suffer from insecurity, such a unilateral move could strain diplomatic ties and hinder much-needed regional cooperation on security. A sign of desperation or a necessary step. General Musa's call is a clear signal of the immense pressure the Nigerian security apparatus is under. It reflects a desire for a tangible, perhaps even symbolic, solutions to an interactable problem. However, many analysts will argue that while border security is crucial, a physical fence is, at best, only one part of a much larger, more complex strategy. This strategy would need to include enhanced intelligence gathering and sharing, both domestically and regionally, better equipment and welfare for security forces, addressing the socio-economic grievances that fuel recruitment by extremist groups, good governance and tackling corruption, which often undermines security efforts, strengthening regional security, cooperation with neighboring countries rather than just building walls. The idea of fencing Nigeria's border is a bold, even radical one. It highlights the severity of security crisis, while it might offer a semblance of control in specific area. The immense cost, logistics, hurdle, potential negative socio-economic impacts, and questions about its ultimate effectiveness make it a highly contentious proposal. It is a debate that is just beginning, but it forces Nigeria and indeed the international community to confront the deep-seated challenges the nation faces. Will this be a turning point or simply a talking point? Only time will tell. What do you think? Is fencing Nigeria's border a viable solution, or are there better ways to tackle insecurity? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Uber's Trending Gist for more analysis, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out our next upload. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.